Hey everybody, as you know, this is my friend Michele Lisenbury Christensen, who lives across the water, who I co-created TeachNow with. And we started this program nearly 2 years ago, and since then we've both created new offers and continued to do some of the same things. And so we thought it would be interesting to just have a quick view into what we're teaching these days. So that's what we're going to be talking about. Thanks for being here, friend.
Thank you. Super fun.
Yeah, and I'm going to just glance over at my questions over here on the screen next to me. So you're teaching these days about sex and about desire. Don't you like the way I say that? Sex.
Hot love.
About the hot love makeover and hot monogamy. And I wondered, how did you get so brazen?
How did I get so brazen? Well, I realized that it was the biggest problem I'd had for the longest time, and nobody helped me with it. And so the brazenness really was out of a spirit of, I want to say desperation in a way, or just like compassion for other people who are married to the person that they know, they love, and want to be with, but also really wrestling with a lot of these questions about desire and how do I combine fidelity with the life of sort of adventure and self-expression that I really want. And am I going to have to leave this person in order to get what I want? But I'm not going to do that. So am I going to have to settle? Am I going to have to check myself at the door so that I stay the nice wife or husband or other partner that I want to be?
And you know what I found in my first very long marriage and now in my second soon-to-be marriage next year is that the question of intimacy and desire in a relationship is all about me. It's not in him. But I project it and I blame it and I make it about all the ways that I actually stop myself from wanting what I want in my life.
And our culture backs you up so hard on that.
No.
It says he's supposed to do this, and women don't want sex unless that. And here are the prerequisites that women have for sex, and it's bullshit. We don't have prerequisites for sex, but we do have ways that we start to tamp down our desire. We have ways we disconnect from our hearts, bodies, from our self-expression. And when we're not as free, then we don't want it.
Right. And how much the freedom, I mean, I'm just thinking about the intersection with my own work, how much in my own personal work, is how much the freedom lies in my permission to fully go for the vulnerability of being me and asking for and allowing myself to want what I want.
Yeah.
That self-editing thing is huge for me. Anyway, we're talking about you. So
no, it's huge for all of us. We're talking about women. And you are women.
So you've taught so many different things. We talk about this in the TeachNow course. You know, you've taught yoga, you've taught leadership development, you've taught, you know,
I'm nutty.
Yeah.
The Elements of Feminine Power retreat that I've done 9 times.
Yeah. Success. You know, you taught, you know, and when you were 19 in your sorority and you saw Tony Robbins, you know, you listened to a Tony Robbins CD or something and you went immediately back.
I have pretty big teeth, right? I can do that. I can be Tony.
And so now you're talking about this. So what's it like to have transitioned to talking about... Actually, my real question is, what's it like to have taught so many different things? What's the through line in that teaching for you?
Yeah, well, okay, it's multiple choice. A couple different questions, and I'm going to answer the one I want to answer because I want teachers to hear this. Like, when I look back at it, there's still, when you were saying that, Jen, there was this, like, voice of shame that came up in me of like, yeah, make up your mind, lady.
Oh, interesting. That's not the voice that came up in me. So that's interesting.
I know. Yes, that was mine. That's all about me. But I think that a lot of teachers who do shift gears or who are multi-passionate, who have a lot of things they're interested in and a lot of talents. You know, I have a lot of things that I'm capable of teaching and things I'm passionate about and help people with a ton. So to let myself do that, I have to let that voice say what it says, but not let it run me. And that's what I would love for other people to know. Maybe moving from corporate coaching to relationship coaching will be your thing too, but probably not. But the permission for yourself to shift gears is not unlike the sexual permission we were just talking about.
Yeah.
Allowing yourself to want what you want. And it's very vulnerable.
Right.
And it takes
to
a lot
explore it. One of the things we talked about in TeachNow is to explore it through teaching in some way to see do I love this? Do I want to express it? Is there some through line? One of the things that's come out in some of the case studies we're sharing in the teachers path to the emails that we send to that list about people who've taken TeachNow and other people who haven't, is that often they find what their work is really about through different iterations of teaching.
Yeah,
and allowing yourself
always, like spiritually, the way out is through, and in teaching, the way to your seat as a teacher is through standing at the front of the room, like calling together a circle of people to learn with you.
Yeah.
That's the only way you get there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then that brings me to the other through line. You know, you asked, so what links all the pearls on this necklace of my career? And it really is the spiritual path. You know, I'm leading a class later this month called The Spiritual Path of Relationship, or The Spiritual Path of Turned On Relationship. And I have an audio CD that says your business can be a spiritual path. And it's always been for me that everything in your life is a mirror of your inner world. It's the divine trying to reflect to you what's next for your soul through other people, through circumstances, through what you're running up against in terms of marketing, or in terms of what your man is doing or not doing, or your woman. You know, all of these things are a mirror for what's going on in you, and they're all right there, relentlessly reflecting your inner world out of love, that you might wake up. Yeah. So that's my only message ever.
Beautiful. I get it. I could say so much about that, but we're going to try to keep this short. How important is it for you to have good boundaries in doing this work? I mean, you're working directly with couples as well as teaching in this area of intimacy and turned onness, and it seems to me like it could get really weird.
Yeah, well, it does get really weird, and in a sense, I mean, boundaries are, of course, very important, and the clarity, I have to be really clear with people. I mean, one of what we haven't really talked about, but that is abundant elsewhere on my site, is the recognition that I teach orgasmic meditation. And so there's a gradient of how I can do that. But it includes up to the possibility that I am there in the room and your pants are off and your partner is stroking you.
Wow. And I'm blushing just a little bit with you saying that right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Your pants are off.
Goes up. It's intimate. That is juicy stuff.
Stop with the juicy. Stop with the juicy.
That is hot stuff. Stop with the hot. Yeah, we can't touch it with a 10-foot pole without the room getting hot, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Jennifer. Even I didn't get that one.
I'm sorry. I've gone down the rabbit hole of adolescent.
You are killing me. I love it. So, yes, my work abounds with dreadful metaphors and taboos and fear and anxiety. And I love that about it because it's such a tender place. It's so sweet. And who else are you going to let in but me? Mm-hmm. People haven't let anybody else into even the truth. You know, whatever it is, they tell me something, and it's like you can see it. You can see the pressure melt a little because there's something, you know, like I haven't been into sex since I had the baby,
right.
Or ever since the affair, we don't quite know what to do.
Right.
So it's huge, emotionally as well as physically, and you know, sort of legally. I have to make sure that we're holding really clean boundaries.
Right.
But that said, it's almost like I know and trust myself on that, and I think people read that and tend to trust me to have clean boundaries. What's more rich in the work is really creating enough safety that they have the room within themselves to do the opening up,
right?
You know, to walk in.
Right.
So there's a lot of approach, avoid.
Right.
They sign on with me or they start a program and it's tons of stuff comes up. And so it's really about taking my time with them and being that safe place so they can walk the journey they need to walk.
Wow. Where do you want to grow next as a teacher with this work?
Oh, man. It's really taking my seat and being audacious with how important this is. You know, it's I sometimes feel like there's a superhero version of me who would be really pounding the pavement and shouting from the rooftops more about it at every women's conference and every place where female entrepreneurs gather and every place where mothers gather. Mm-hmm. On the planet needs this because a happy mama makes for happy kids, and a happy mama is one who's sexually fulfilled. I really believe that. And yet audacious.
Yeah. No, it's really true. I mean, every time we connect and have great intimate sex, everything shifts in our whole house, and it's, for us, since we're still we're still newlyweds, it's, we don't have that track record of years of going with, resentment and not having sex, but you can even feel it from happy to happier.
Yeah. And everybody gets busy. People who've just moved in together or just gotten married often say something changes when that happens.
Yeah.
From dating to living together.
Oh, yeah.
I could do you anytime. Yeah. I got other stuff I need to get on with. So we need to make the space for it and make it the root of our lives instead of that fruit out there at the end of the branch that may or may not get enough water to really thrive.
Yeah. Okay. Where are you too scared to go yet as a teacher of hot monogamy, of turned on love?
Yeah. But I don't know that I'm scared to go anywhere. I think, my challenge, as always, is to focus. So I focused strictly in, for now, on people who are committed. They already know who the person is, and they want to stay there. I think that some of the chargy places where I know I can help people, but that I don't know I'm going to have room in this lifetime to do it, are helping people find that right person and build a relationship from the same foundation that I'm helping people sort of rebuild their relationship from, so singles. And then also, I think there are people who are in the wrong relationship or who aren't going to make the kinds of decisions that Kurt and I have made and a lot of couples make to be able to stay together and build a turned-on committed partnership. And so they do need to get out and helping with that. So one of the tough places right now is just making sure that in my messaging I'm always conveying absolute approval for whatever your path is, but just that my focus at this time is to help people who want to stay and want to live a life of adventure and turn on.
Right, which is how we live our dharma. We have to focus. We have to focus, and I've been thinking so much about this lately. How both what we said earlier is true, that you want to try things, you have to have different iterations, you have to be in action. That is absolutely true. But at some point, you have to say, "This is it, and I'm all in." And if you look at the famous stories of people who did that, there was always a place where they said, I'm not going to do X anymore. Whether it's I'm not going to teach anymore, I'm not going to farm anymore, I'm going to be a poet, or I'm going to be, a biologist, or there's always a time. And I think it's more difficult maybe now than ever because of the internet, because it's so easy to be distracted. Yeah,
well, and because there's so many nuances to each of our messages. Like I'm thinking of Stephen Pressfield. And he's written Do the Work and The Art of War.
Right? Art of War, Do the Work, Going Pro.
Yeah. And all of those are really iterations on a very small slice of what it is to be an artist. But he is going so deep with that. Right. And I certainly needed to hear it from him in those 3 different ways. And I probably need to hear it from him again and from some other people. So we need teachers to go deep and to focus and to slice away that which is not the core of the one message. So for me, it's like you can stay and have the juicy life you want.
Right.
You can have the hottest sex of your life with the person you're already with, even if you've never had the hottest sex of your life with them. So I think that as teachers, for all of us, that's one of the biggest disciplines, or at least for a shiny object maniac like me, finding the not only your area of teaching, but the bare bodkin of it, the sweetest little nub where you're going to focus.
Yeah. Beautifully said, as always, enlightening and wonderful and energizing to talk to you. And everybody look below for links to Michele's work and for an audio, there's an audio and a video version of this for you to enjoy if you're not a video person. So thanks, Michele.
Thank you. Thanks so much for the interview, Jen. And as some of you know, Jen and I created the TeachNow program together, and there's information about that below. But it really is, it brings together all the cool stuff that we both play with in our kind of on-the-ground work and helps other teachers dare in the same ways.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jen.
So join us September 19th. We'll be doing the triple bottom line of teaching call together. And if you like what our energy and insights, there'll be a lot of it. It's like a free sample of TeachNow.
And no juice, we promise.
Or 10-foot poles. Come on. Can't believe you said that. I can't believe I reacted. All right. I'm shutting us off now. Oh no, I can't find the shut off button.
Turn us off! Turn us off!